film begins with a couple stuck in a long line of cars at a gas station. Suddenly, the lights go out everywhere, leaving them both very worried. Their conversation reveals that Earth has almost run out of all its energy resources. In 5 years, the world will have no electricity at all. To solve this energy crisis, a large group of top scientists and astronauts was put together. Inside a massive space station called Cloverfield, they wanted to create an energy source using the Shepard particle. This would start a chain reaction to solve the energy problem, but they had failed many times before. Now, a new team was about to go to the space station to continue this mission, and Ava was joining them. She tells her husband Michael, "I don't want to go to space because I want to be with you." In the past, Ava lost her children in a house fire. She knew that if she left Michael now, he would be completely alone. But Michael convinced her to go, saying, "You are not just saving me, but the entire world." The scene cuts to the Cloverfield space station in space, where Ava is with the other crew members. These 7 people are working hard together to stabilize and test the Shepard particle. They are trying to activate the Shepard particle so it can produce endless energy. But they fail every time. Their hopes fade with each failure because they are now running out of fuel. This is the energy they use to test the Shepard particle. After another failed test, an exhausted Ava talks to her husband. She tells him they only have enough fuel left to try the experiment 3 more times. And if they fail all 3 times, no one can stop the world from plunging into darkness. Soon, the entire crew prepares to test the Shepard particle again. Under the high stress, they blame each other for the failures, and some of the crew even fight. But the captain manages to calm everyone down. Before the test, they watch a news report from Earth. In it, a scientist warns that the Shepard particle being tested this time is 1,000 times more powerful. He warns that when it produces energy, it could rip a hole in the fabric of space and time. And if this happens, multiple dimensions will crash together, bringing monsters and demons from other dimensions to Earth. The world would be in great danger. The crew is terrified by this news, but the commander turns it off and tells everyone to focus on their work. After fixing their past mistakes, they fire up the Shepard particle again. And this time they succeed. The Shepard particle finally stabilizes. A bright light glows inside the large machine, which overjoys everyone. They think they have finally succeeded. But at that very moment, things go wrong. Due to an energy overload from the particle, the systems crash. The inside of the space station gets badly damaged, and a fire breaks out in one part of the station. While they are trying to put out the fire, they suddenly feel a huge shockwave. Outside, a strange energy wave hits the station, and the gravity drops to 0 for a moment. When power comes back, they turn on the vents. The fire is soon brought under control, and after some time, things seem to return to normal. But that is just an illusion. The real trouble has just begun. When Ava checks her system, she is shocked to see that Earth has disappeared. Hearing this, everyone is terrified. They begin to wonder if their experiment has destroyed Earth. The crew starts panicking. To calm everyone down, the captain orders them to repair the space station's broken systems. At this, point, Ava notices that their navigation system is missing. As they go to tell their captain, they suddenly hear someone screaming. They follow the sound to a wall panel and find an injured woman trapped inside the wires. When she sees Ava, she begins calling out her name. But Ava has never seen her before. They are terrified and confused about who this woman is and how she got there. The captain orders the crew to cut the woman out of the wires. After she is rescued, they begin treating her. The scene then cuts to Earth. Michael, woken up by a massive explosion. Looking out the window, he sees chaos everywhere. Huge explosions are happening and fires are breaking out. The cause is unknown. The scene returns to the space station, where strange things are also happening. Objects seem to move on their own or disappear. A strange thing happens to Volkov's body, causing one of his eyes to move on its own. He starts acting very weirdly and violently, and uses a 3D printer to make a gun. He tries to attack the crew, but before he can shoot, foam pours from his mouth, and he collapses. The crew takes him to the medical bay. While the doctor is examining him, suddenly, a bunch of worms erupt from his mouth. His body explodes, and he dies in a horrific manner. Meanwhile, we see the woman rescued from the wires wake up. She looks at Ava and asks, "What are you doing here?" She speaks to Ava as if they were old friends. She introduces herself as Mina Jensen and says she has been working on this space station for 2 years, while Ava stayed on Earth. Ava then tells her, "I don't know you and you don't work here. I have been the one working on this station for the past 2 years. Hearing this, Mina becomes extremely confused. Before they can figure it out, Mina grabs Ava and warns her not to trust Schmidt at all. It's because of Schmidt that the Shepard is failing, she claims. The captain finds out and locks Schmidt in a room. Schmidt is completely confused and has no idea what is happening. The scene cuts back to Earth. Michael drives through the ruined city to find out what is going on. A friend calls him and tells him that the Cloverfield space station has disappeared from radar and no one can find it. Michael is heartbroken because his wife, Ava, is up there. He suddenly stops in front of a completely destroyed building. Through the dust, he sees the giant shadow of a huge monster. He is terrified. He hears crying and finds a little girl trapped in the rubble. She is very scared and calls out to Michael for help. Michael rescues her and takes her to a safe shelter. Back on the space station, Mundy is fixing a wall panel when the wall suddenly sucks his arm in. He screams in panic. Ava and the crew rush over and manage to pull Mundy out of the wall. But as he falls back, they are shocked to see that his right arm is completely gone. Strangely, Mundy feels no pain at all, and there is no bleeding. This bizarre event leaves everyone deeply disturbed. Meanwhile, Schmidt is still locked inside his room. He hears a strange tapping noise at his door. Looking outside, he sees Mundy's missing arm, crawling across the floor on its own. He screams for the crew. The crew arrives and carefully traps the moving arm. They place it on a table. The hand starts making writing motions. Realizing it wants to write, they give it a pen. The hand writes, "Cut open Volkov's body." Confused but desperate, they cut open Volkov's dead body and find their missing navigation device inside his stomach. This is terrifying. They don't have time to process this madness, though. They quickly plug in the navigation device and begin searching for Earth. Finally, they locate Earth. They are relieved and immediately try to contact command back home. They can't get a direct signal, but they pick up a news broadcast. The news reports that the Cloverfield Space Station was destroyed, and the wreckage had crashed into the Atlantic Ocean. This makes no sense. The crew is still alive and standing on the station. How could it have crashed? The scientist in the crew starts putting the clues together. He realizes that when they fired the Shepard particle, there was a huge power surge. That surge ripped a hole in reality. This is why everything is acting crazy, and how Mina appeared inside the walls. He finally understands. The overload transported their space station into an alternate dimension. This alternate universe has its own Earth, and Mina is from this timeline. In Mina's universe, she was a crew member on the Cloverfield Station. But the station in her universe crashed into the ocean. Their arrival displaced Mina, trapping her in their walls. They realize that to get back home, they must fire up the Shepard particle accelerator again. This will jump them back to their own dimension so they can save their Earth. Some crew members think they should stay in this universe, but most agree they need to get back. They start working to repair the particle accelerator and attempt the jump back. One of the crew members goes to check the water filtration system, but suddenly the machinery starts malfunctioning again. Water bursts out and floods the small room, trapping her inside. Before the crew can save her, the immense water pressure ruptures an outer airlock. The freezing cold of space instantly turns the water into solid ice, killing her right in front of them. Seeing this, the captain says they must leave immediately. This alternate universe is hostile to them. It is actively trying to kill them. But the repairs are now much harder with fewer crew members alive. Mina decides to help them fix the station. In return, the captain promises to send her back down to her Earth in an escape pod before they jump back to their own dimension. During this time, Mina and Ava bond. Ava reveals that her children died in a fire caused by a faulty battery she installed. She lives with extreme guilt. Mina tells her that in this dimension, Ava's children are still alive. She shows Ava a video of them, making her very emotional. Ava realizes that if her children are alive here, she can still go to Earth and save them. She decides she wants to stay in this alternate universe and return to Earth with Mina. She wants to warn the alternate Ava about the faulty battery. She wants to save her children, at least in this timeline. So she talks to the captain and convinces him to let her leave. Meanwhile, Mundy is fixing the wiring near the particle accelerator. Working with just one arm, he tries to fix the magnetic field. But suddenly, a massive magnetic surge occurs. It pulls metal objects toward him and causes a massive explosion. Mundy is caught in the blast and is killed instantly. The rest of the crew is heartbroken by Mundy's sudden death. But things get worse. The explosion caused critical damage to the station, and a section is tearing apart. They must detach the damaged ring. Otherwise, the entire space station will be destroyed. Ava and the captain rush to detach the ring. But as they try to seal the doors, they find that the system is broken. Someone has to manually lock it from the inside and sacrifice themselves. The captain decides to make the sacrifice. He steps into the broken ring, locks the door, and ejects the section into space. He dies to save the rest of the crew. Ava is devastated by the loss, but there is no time to grieve. They must focus on the mission. Ava prepares to travel to Earth in the escape pod with Mina. But as they get ready to leave, Mina suddenly turns on Ava. She attacks Ava, knocking her out with a heavy tool. Mina's true plan is to steal the Cloverfield Station and keep it in her dimension. Her Earth needs the Shepard particle for endless energy because her station crashed. Without this station, her world would die from the energy crisis. Leaving Ava unconscious, Mina grabs a gun and heads off to kill Schmidt, the only other surviving crew member. Fortunately, Ava regains consciousness just in time. She rushes to the control room and tries to stop